There's been a lot of really surprising anime this year, and Oddtaxi is one that just came out of nowhere. This is absolutely one that I heard so much hype about it on Twitter, I had to give it a shot. Originally, I had planned to cover the anime 86 in this slot, but I just wanted to talk about Oddtaxi more, so here it is. Hiroshi Otokawa is a middle-aged man, a walrus, who's a taxi driver in Tokyo who normally operates later in the evening. Initially, this series starts off fairly slow, just covering Otokawa on his daily routine, and exploring the interesting conversations and connections that are formed by someone who drives a taxi all over Tokyo. It explores the interactions Otokawa has with people around the city, like his drinking buddy Kakihana, a middle-aged drunk who works as a janitor trying to pick up chicks off of a dating app by lying about his income, or the Sippo guy he meets who just is trying anything they can to get famous online. As the story goes, though, it's revealed that there's a missing girl who was last seen riding in Otokawa's taxi, and because of this, trouble just seems to find Otokawa wherever he goes. So the story revolves around him about trying to reclaim his life and free himself of the people trying to investigate him or to take him down. This is an interesting anime. It falls into a few weird tropes for me lately. Oddtaxi, I think, is a really great example of one of my favorite trends, which is anime that doesn't feel like anime. Over the past few decades, you've seen a real homogeny in anime stories. Not that they all cover the same topics or have the exact same characters, but there are very strict character archetypes that are followed in a lot of anime, as well as basic plots, typically anime revolving around school settings or isekai settings. It can get fairly tired, and just because an anime is in one of those genres doesn't mean it's bad or anything. It does create a form of homogeny that has been inescapable in a lot of ways. With the sheer amount of anime that's getting made these days, though, it's really refreshing to see these kind of anime that don't stick to those general formulas. Oddtaxi especially is weird because it focuses around middle-aged men who aren't especially exciting or extraordinary. With Oddtaxi, you'll see a lot of general comparisons to, actual crime dramas in America, like Pulp Fiction or Taxi Driver, though I think it's a lot more Pulp Fiction than Taxi Driver, which is, I guess, ironic because it's about a taxi driver, but whatever. The thing that connects it so closely to Pulp Fiction in my mind is that it centers around such a wide variety of stories throughout the city of Tokyo, like Pulp Fiction centered around a wide variety of stories around the city of LA. Lots of stories that just feel like they have no connection whatsoever, but they just click into place. But I think if you're gonna draw a direct parallel to what Oddtaxi felt like when I was watching it, the first thing that popped into my head was a lot of American crime thriller TV shows. Shows like Ozarks on Netflix or even Breaking Bad. And that Breaking Bad comparison isn't one that I make lightly. I think what made Breaking Bad so satisfying is how it utilized every single aspect of the story. Every part of Breaking Bad's story, like an Oddtaxi, feels like it's a snowball starting at the top of a hill and rolling down. It starts really small, things that you think are insignificant, but they build and build and build and become major parts of the story near the end. This is what I would call a mature anime. Not mature in the way that there's a lot of swearing or that there's blood and gore. No, this is a mature anime in that it handles its subject matter and its story in a way that is well thought out and considered ahead of time. It's absolutely a crime thriller anime, but these Western comparisons are far more apt than even something like Death Note would be. Again, there's a kind of absurdity that comes with anime that's not present in Oddtaxi, even though all of the characters are animals, and I'll get to that in a moment. But everything feels really grounded and, ironically enough, human. The dialogue is sharp and precise, the mystery in the story never misses a beat, and constantly builds on itself and doesn't always reveal everything to you on its surface. You do need to think about some of its points ahead of time, and if you do, you will be rewarded by being told that you're right, which is always one of my favorites of a good thriller, is when you can watch a story, you can make a guess and say, I think it's that character. Character on screen does not reflect actual character I thought it was, but I could say I think it's that character, and a few episodes down the line, I'm right. And that is the best feeling, because when you can pick up on those context clues and you can make an educated guess yourself as a viewer, it just feels so rewarding. Swapping from that though, I want to go to the fact that everyone in this show is an animal, which is a part of a new phase that's been going on in anime. As I said earlier, this is a series that goes into two of the major trends going on in anime. Again, first one, anime that doesn't feel like anime. Second one, anime that just has a lot of furries in it. And with other anime like that, like Beastars or Brand New Animal, mostly those comparisons, the reasons they have animals in the anime feels like a kind of derivative off of Zootopia. Not saying that they are, but that is what it feels like. There's always a kind of central theme to the animalistic nature of these humanoid characters. Not present in Oddtaxi. Oddtaxi, they're just animals, and it's a really cute, softly animated series. Now you may look at that and say, well, if the animal side of these characters doesn't really play into the story, then why is it here? And I think it's to add to a few layers of removal that this show gives you. And what I mean by removal is, well, I want you to think of something right now. I want you to think of any live action anime adaptation. Did you like any of them? Why? I could go on a whole tangent of why anime adaptations don't work for me and the structural strengths and weaknesses of animation as opposed to live action. But what's important for this review is that in most situations, live action shows have a much easier time immersing you in their world and relating to their characters because you see the humanity in them immediately. Not that that's not possible in anime, but it's a little more difficult. It's something about how your brain is hardwired when it sees other people on screen. Again, these are major trends that you see. That is not in every sequence. Don't say, oh, this anime made me feel way more than this live action show. That's not what I'm talking about. These are general sequences of how most people interpret animated images versus live action images. On top of that, Oddtaxi removes humanity even more by making all of their characters not human at all. They're animals. So on top of removing the humanity from these characters in the form of making them animated, you've also removed the humanity from these characters by making them animals. And you've made that animated style a lot more cute, and I would say this is a very soft anime style compared to other anime that have more hard, sharper lines, or more sharp, clearly defined colors. So it makes it even more impressive when Oddtaxi is able to utilize those levels of dissonance they've built on top of each other to make their story feel the most human-centric and relatable story that I've seen in anime, or maybe any show this year. It is in removing yourself by these layers that you're able to see a more bare-natured level of humanity. Something used to great effect in the show BoJack Horseman, which is another show that uses this kind of tactic. My reaction to it is that subconsciously it disarms your brain from treating these characters to be as realistic and human as they are. It disarms your mind and sets it at a really low level where it allows these concepts to be challenged with you, which I think is what's brilliant about Oddtaxi. Not only does it feel like an incredibly realistic crime drama, but it also carries this level of humanity and connection that it's able to pierce through any kind of layers of protection you normally have against those type of stories. It's like a character that disarms you with a cute smile before absolutely laying your ass out. Oddtaxi is one of the best anime of this season, probably one of the best anime of the year, and definitely one I'm going to be thinking of going forward. If they make more of this show, I would be incredibly happy, but the way this anime ends feels fairly conclusive, pretty wrapped up, and I don't need more. I don't need a single episode more to feel completely satisfied with this complete package that I have. This is an anime well worth your time, and with so many twists and turns, it's just perfect. And thank you very much for watching this video all the way to the end. I have more videos I'm working on right now, more anime to cover, a TikTok where I regularly release anime related content as well, and leave a comment down below of anime you think I should be checking out as well. I'm always looking for recommendations. Also, let me know what you think of Oddtaxi. Did you find this show to be as surprising and exciting as I did? Let me know. I'm glad to have a discussion about it, and I want you to just have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having. And stay rad.